Okay, team, let's get started. I know we have mostly realtors on here. We're going to have more people jumping on. Natalie, kind of, if you could administer some of the mutes and unmutes, if you could mute for us, guys, that would be great. But please, if you could turn your cameras on, I would love that. It's so much easier for me to interact a little bit. And then obviously, we'll be using the chat. We'll have some surveys. I want to make this as interactive as I can. Just so we can keep everybody going. Okay, so guys, why am I doing this? Why am I picking this topic today? And I just walked out of a room full of great realtors here in our office that got together for this webinar. Hey, there's a lot going on in real estate and lending, but specifically in real estate, besides a market that's a little interesting, okay? Obviously with NAR and all the lawsuits and all this stuff, there's just a lot of information, a lot of misinformation, but there's one thing I know. And one thing I know is that realtors will continue to get paid commissions when they list a home and they agree on that commission with a seller and then they sell the home. So I know those commissions are going to work out. So why not work towards finding more listings and making a better plan to do that, okay? And why is that hard sometimes? Well, gosh, listings, all the experienced agents or the people who have been in it long, they always have all the listings. That is not true, okay? That is not true. One of my mentors, a guy named Darren Hardy. I love Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect. This is a great one, guys. Now he is a huge influencer business leader guy, but guess what? Darren Hardy started as a realtor, and within 2 years in a very tight market in California, he was the #1 realtor in that market. Okay, so it can be done. Okay, next, who is this Bernie guy and why is he qualified to teach us about realtors? He's not a realtor. Great question. All right, so guys, I am a NAREP 10 certified trainer. So NAREP, National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. I love NAREP. I do a lot of coaching in NAREP. I was the trainer of the year in 2021. So that is a lot of Hispanic wealth building and wealth building in general. I have been professionally coached by some huge organizations. One of those is the CORE. The CORE training, I was a level 3 student there. That is realtor lender coaching. Tons of great tactics there. I love the CORE. I might have some CORE fans. I now get coached by a group or one of the affiliates of Growth Only Coaching. Go Coaching. So maybe in the chat, if you are part of the CORE or if you're a part of Go Coaching, please feel free to give them a shout out. I think being coached is important, and that's how I get all this great stuff. And now I do a ton of speaking. People actually pay me to speak. I know that's shocking. And I most recently spoke on stage down in Nashville for a NAREP event. I'm in Louisville in a couple of weeks. And I love educating realtors and lenders. But more importantly, my father growing up was a realtor. He was the #1 realtor in our suburb of Denver. Guys, I was painting and scraping garages for FHA loans and sitting open houses and passing out calendars. And so I know the trials and tribulations of real estate. Some of what I want to talk about today is old school a little bit, okay? But some of it is going to wrap in how we use social media and other ways to go a little new school. I really think the market now is digital and old school tactics to get more listings, okay? So where do I want to start today? Guys, man, first, I just want to commend you all for being in the business, fighting it out. We all know that in general, okay, realtor licenses are down, I've heard 30 to 40% from last year, okay? I think the real estate business is a great business. I think we all know that home buyers and home sellers need consultation. So, commend you all. Congratulations, right? However, let's work on some mindset stuff. If you want to grow in a market like this, because I do think we are a really unique spot. I think we're in kind of I don't want to say the bottom, but maybe we've seen the worst. Okay. I think everybody realizes rates are where they are. All this lawsuit stuff now is out there. And now it's all about our actions. Okay. So I would like to encourage you to change some things up. Okay. Guys, if you keep doing the same stuff you've been doing, I feel like you're going to get the same results. And now we need some new results. Okay. So just from a mindset perspective, okay, change a few things for me. Number one, get up earlier. I know that sounds ridiculous. Now, I'm an old Army guy. I learned this because the Army made me learn this. I used to get up every morning at 5 a.m. Now I get up at 4:45. That's crazy, right? But when you get up early, you attack your day. Whenever you're getting up now, get up earlier, okay? But do something that is developing your brain, okay? Read something good. Journal out some stuff. Listen to some podcasts. Guys, all day our brain takes in kind of dirty water, right? You know, news and this happened and somebody in the cube next to me is complaining, or I have a client that cheated on me, right? This happens to everybody. We've got to replenish our brain and our brain energy in the morning, okay? Number two, I think you've really got to find some kind of physical fitness outlet early in the morning, okay? It's just undeniable, 1,000% it relieves stress. It just does, right? Get up sooner, all right? Fill your brain with good stuff and try to work that fitness angle. These are things, documented, guys, that top performers do, period, okay? And then the beauty is you've all got partners, friends, do it together, right? Think about that. I think these are ways that we get, we get more engagement. We're more likely to do it if we have accountability partners, right? So mindset, I think, is a great place to start. Okay, now I'd like to throw a survey. I'm going to throw up a survey, see if this works. I want to know on the call, okay, kind of your stuff from last year. What percentage of buyers that you represented, okay, what percentage of sellers you represented. So you can see the survey. Okay, take 2 moments. I think it's up now. So how much of your business is buyers? More than 80% last year, more than 50%, or less than 50%. Okay. All right, we're starting to get some results. Please jump in there, engage for me. We want to make stuff as interactive as we can, okay? Because obviously I change up presentations as we go. And I know I've got some rooms full of people in there. I get it. We're going to do our best. Okay. We've got 12, 14, 16 people coming through. Oh, I lost one of my polls. Oh, Natalie, you got a how am I feeling poll that came in now. I love that. That's funny. Okay. So guys, what I'm seeing there basically is in general, almost everybody on the call, minus a couple of folks, is over 50% buy sides. Okay. Now, I want to transition that next year to being over 50% listings. And I think we all know if we do listings, okay, we're going to end up with more buyers. It's just going to be less consistent moving forward with buyers and getting paid from buyers. I don't know what that means from NAR. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but obviously things are starting to change. So let's go get listings. Okay, now I want some things in the comments. Here's what I want to know. What do you think a consumer, you guys are all professional realtors, I love this, a seller. I'm a seller. What do you think the most important trait is? What am I looking for in a listing agent? So why am I going to hire a listing agent? What kind of traits do you guys in your mind go, okay, here's what I think my sellers in the past, maybe why they hired me? Throw some comments in there if you would. What am I getting? Let's see, because I've obviously got some stats and some ideas. Okay, so put in a comment. There we go. All right, knowledge of the market. I love that. How many listings you've had in the past or maybe sold in the past. Communication, marketing, expertise. Nora, thank you. Siniera, negotiating skills and trust. I think trust is a big one, and obviously negotiating is good. I got a bunch of knowledge in here. Gio's got some recommendations and some reviews. Getting personally referred. Guys, that's a huge one. So let's kind of keep that there. Knowledge of local market. Let's see. marketing strategies, exposing, I think talking about those strategies. Okay, so guys, there's a couple of myths. One of the biggest myths is experience, okay? And I think that's one of our biggest limiting beliefs. So if you're on this call and you don't do as many listings, one of your limiting beliefs is like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna compete with Karen? Karen's been in the market for 20 years. She listed 50 homes last year. I mean, how am I ever going to beat her out on a listing? Okay, guys, you've got to get rid of that mindset. That really isn't what a seller wants. Okay, I agree with a lot of the other comments. Getting personally referred is a big one, and we're going to talk about how to get personally referred better. Okay, one thing I didn't see in here is getting the highest price for my home. Guys, if I'm listing my home, I do want to hear something about why you're going to get me the highest price for my home, right? I think that's probably important. Now, again, I don't think you roll in with, I'm going to get the highest price. We obviously get them there in our listing presentation, okay? But the number one reason that a seller in the end hires a listing agent is because they think that person, or you've proven to them that you are an expert. And specifically, you are an expert in that area with their home in that market. So a lot of these comments like Nora, knowing the local market, for example, the strategy, I want to hire an expert. I don't care if they're new, they're old. I would tell you I've had bad experiences with big listing agents because I don't feel the love. I don't get attention. I would almost rather hire a newer or younger listing agent or less experienced if I felt like they were an expert and they had a great plan, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to become an expert. So guys, I went to and I found a town in America. All right, every one of y'all lives in a town here in America, okay? And you perceive, I hope, that you are an expert about, I don't know, the real estate, the town, the people. Like, what makes you an expert? Okay, so number one, we've got to be an expert, but number two, we've got to tell people. How do we let people know we're an expert? Some of that's perception, right? So I went to a town in Texas called Round Rock, Texas. I don't know if anybody here has been to Round Rock, Texas. I think it's somewhere north of Austin. I looked it up on the map. Okay. Now, using Google and some other tools, in 5 minutes, here's what I found out about Round Rock, Texas. Now, guys, just say you lived in this town, and all of y'all live in towns similar to this, okay? So there are 5 high schools in Round Rock, Texas. 5. Round Rock High School is the biggest with about 3,700 students, okay? Westwood, Cedar Ridge, okay? High schools, okay? That is what people associate with. So you want to be an expert in kind of these high schools because people that got kids that, oh, by the way, are going to list their house someday. They have knowledge of these places. Makes sense. Okay. I found out by going to the city of Round Rock and that website, I found all the municipality stuff, big list of new businesses coming in. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. There are 32,000 single family homes in Round Rock, Texas. Okay, so when you're doing listing presentations, we have to have stats. How many times have you gone to things and somebody gets up there and they're throwing out some cool stats? You're like, oh, that Julie's an expert. She knows the stats. She knows the numbers. Guys, we got to know the numbers. I would challenge you that many of you don't know those numbers around your towns, and they're pretty easy to get. So what resources do you have? Let's throw these also in the chat. What resources do you have that maybe you even pay for where you could get all kinds of cool stats about Round Rock, Texas? What do you think? Throw in the chat for me. participate. I love you. Okay, let's see what we got here. I pay for resources. I'm a realtor. Okay, Nora says the MLS. Shockingly, yes, the MLS has amazing tools, guys, right? Your association of realtors, right? Leticia, RPR, guys, title companies, your associations. Here in Illinois, we have MRED. They have all sorts of tools that can give you all sorts of stats on what sold, what hasn't sold, percentage of lists sold, okay? Obviously, you wanna suck data out of your own company. So let's say you haven't sold a whole bunch of homes last year and you work for Keller Williams. Okay, well, guess what? You would want to use stats from Keller Williams in your listing presentation that says, hey, in Round Rock, Keller, we sold 86 homes. Time on the market was an average of 7 days, and percentage of that list price was 104%. Right? Like Mario talking EXP. Absolutely. EXP is a very data-driven company. EXP's got stats, right? All right, Leticia, throw me some public records out there. I love it. Okay, so then what else do I want to do with those stats? Because I'm going to teach y'all how to now hunt for some listings using the street and using some stats, okay? That's the kind of stuff I want to look at, right? So now we've started in Round Rock. I know there's 32,000 single-family homes. I know in 2022, I was able to find out that just about 500 homes sold. Now in 2020, that number was almost triple. So that tells me that an average year in Round Rock, about 750 homes sell. So as you're developing your expertise, let's say you're here in Illinois and you live in St. Charles. Okay, St. Charles might not quite be big enough for you to acquire 100 listings in a year. They might not have sold enough homes. Guys, you can find this out like that. Remember, a big advantage to be an expert in a single area. I don't want to limit you. You can still go all over the place and do stuff, right? But wouldn't it be nice in 3 to 5 years to never drive your car more than 15 miles to go to a listing appointment or a buyer's consultation or a closing, right? Because you now own your area. Guys, that'd be cool because you are an expert, okay? And again, we're going to keep going down this road. So now I want to find listings. I told you there's 32,000 homes in Round Rock. Okay, if you wanted to, if you had a whole bunch of money, you could just start mailing and canvassing all 32,000 homes, okay? I can't do that, right? One mailer would cost $16,000, $18,000. Not to mention, I don't know who's going to drop all it off at the post office, right? So that doesn't make sense. So what I want to help teach you is how do we identify homes that are likely going on the market? Okay, we're going to talk about several ways to do that. So when I was a little kid, I was like 8 years old. My dad, as a realtor, we lived in the west side of Denver in an area called Green Mountain, and my dad was an expert in Green Mountain High School. Okay, anybody he would meet, when they say, what do you do? He would say, hey, I'm proud to be a realtor. I sell Green Mountain High School. I'm an absolute expert at Green Mountain High School. I sell homes here. I'm the best. Oh, so number one, I would challenge you to change your branding statements when you're in the line at Starbucks or at the PTA meeting or on your kid's soccer field. All these places as realtors, we're raising our families and we're in the community, right? Gosh, Josh, what do you do? You know what? I am a awesome realtor in Northwest Indiana. As a matter of fact, I sell Crown Point. I'm an absolute expert here. If somebody has a home to sell in Crown Point, I'm the man. That's all there is to it. Number one. Wow. Okay, cool. Guys, let's start asking for what exactly we want. Now, that doesn't mean that Josh couldn't sell a property outside of Crown Point or down in Valpo or something like that. I'm sure he might do that, right? But let's start branding a little more detailed for what we want, okay? Because lo and behold, you might get it, right? So now we've got our area that's big enough. We found an area because we can go on the Google in about 2 seconds and say, hey, I need a spot where maybe 1,000 homes sold last year. Man, I'm going to pretty quickly get to a 10% market share listings. That's how I'm going to do. Okay. So now everybody on this call has got a CRM of some sort, or maybe you just have a spreadsheet. Okay. We don't have to get crazy. CRMs are great. If you have one, you should use it. I think a lot of these real estate companies have phenomenal CRMs. Okay. And you're going to start a tab about basically homes that will sell in 5 years. That's what I would call this. Okay. So I would drive around with my dad at Green Mountain High School. And on Saturdays, we would stop in. And this time of year, guys, another reason I'm doing this class this time of year is everything I'm talking about right now is super relative. This is the best time to find listings, period. Okay. And maybe it's a listing for next year, right? But we would go to garage sales, number one. Saturdays, we would drive around for 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday morning. Now, everybody knows you want to go Saturday mornings because that's when there's still good stuff at the garage sale. To be clear, my dad, Big Burn, his name was Bernie as well. He liked to go to garage sales and try to get bargains, okay? So it wasn't just all business. You don't want to go on Sundays. There's nothing left. Saturday morning, and we'd stop at garage sales. Now, I always just thought that my dad was doing this because he liked garage sales. Okay, Dad, let's go. As I got older, though, what I realized, he'd go into the garage sale. Like, we'd stop, we'd drive in there, we'd walk around, right? He'd take a book. He'd always buy a book. We had like a little den, a little office full of books, rando books that he bought at garage sales for like 10 cents. It cost 10 cents, right? Okay. But then, who is always running the little cash box at a garage sale? Anybody? What do you think? Throw it in the chat. Who's the person that runs the cash box at a garage sale? I'll just wait till one person figures it out. I know you know. I know you know. Yes! Crystal, I love you. Thank you for responding. The owner of the home, they're right there. Look, I mean, I found an owner of a home. This is unbelievable. So he would go to the owner of the home and he would buy his book and he'd be like, hey, I noticed you got a big garage sale. What's your plan? Are you just spring cleaning? Are you guys moving? I mean, he's just a neighbor. They don't even know who he is. And then he would get generally the truth. You know what? Or, you know, we have last kid's graduating, or, hey, we just had a third kid. And, you know, I think it's time we got to find a bigger house. Great. My name's Bernie Miller. I live here. So that's another key, guys, right? You are local. People like people that live right there. That's massive credibility, right? I live in Green Mountain. You know, I live up the street. That could be 5 miles away, right? If you live in Naperville, you could live 20 miles from somebody else in Naperville. That place is massive, right? Okay, so I live up the street. Hey, man, I'm a top realtor in the area. I sell Green Mountain High School, period. I'm an absolute expert at Green Mountain High School. That's what I do. Oh, well, gosh, okay. And basically, he would get their information right there, give them a card. But more importantly, he had a big clipboard because this was before computers, okay? This was literally 1980. 1980, right? I know I look a lot younger than that. I get it. Keep the compliments coming. 1980. I was 10 years old. And he would write on his big list. He had this big list. He would pull it out. And it said, homes getting listed. He'd write their name, address. If he got their phone number, he'd put their phone number down, obviously. And he would start mailing immediately because he mails to that whole list. These are people that are likely to sell their home. Guys, someone having a garage sale, there's an 80% chance they're going to sell in the next 3 years. It's just a fact. It's a fact. Okay, so why don't we canvas that place, right? Why don't we add value there? And I'll get to that in a second. Because nowadays, there's other things we're going to find out when we go to the garage sale. But that is the one place that you can go find a seller or find a human that owns their home and shake their hand and not make people think that you're crazy, right? Okay. Next, this time of year, when you're driving around your area. So, yes, I am challenging you. Part of becoming an expert, and we all know realtors, and I know I've got some on this call. When I say, oh, I've got a friend that lives over there on, Grapevine, and the best realtors go, oh yeah, no, are they next to the, that big, huge pine tree that always gets decorated for Christmas, or are they farther down on Grapevine by the 7-Eleven, right? Guys, they know every street, every spot, right? Because they are an expert, right? That's part of it. You've got to know the neighborhoods, right? You've got to be on maps, getting used to that, know where stuff is, know how to get places, because it just adds to that expertise. Okay, so you're going to drive around. Now, you're going to see this time of year signs in people's yards. Okay, so last year at this time, in my yard, I had a sign that had New Trier High School, congratulations, graduate. Okay, meaning I've got a high school graduate. Okay, so I want to know on the call, just put in the chat, yes. Have you driven by in the last month a house that's got a congratulations graduate sign in the yard? Just throw yes in there if you have. And that's okay. Maybe you haven't. Maybe this doesn't happen in your neighborhood. But in general nowadays, all of us want everybody to know our stuff. Okay, I've got a bunch of yeses. I love it. You guys are in business. You guys are going to have some listings. Okay, so another Bernie stat. Now, guys, Bernie stats are statistics that are not validated anywhere. There is no validation to my statistic. But when I say it out loud, you're going to be like, yeah, man, I think he's right. Okay. When there's a high school graduate sign in the yard, that person's going to list their home in the next 3 to 5 years. 80%. So all I'm saying is, why don't we drip on that person a little more religiously, right? And not waste our money dripping on everybody else. Okay. So that's a good one. Another sign in people's yards, and there's way more of these. Any parent that's got a kid playing some sort of high school sports, okay, they've got a sign in their yard, okay, with, Round Rock football or Round Rock track or Round Rock dance. Like if you're in Texas, dance for girls is a big deal, okay? I've got a great friend, and she runs the dance team at a huge school in Austin, Texas, and she's cooler than the head football coach. Like when I go down to visit them, they just make a pass. She's got security. She's so cool. Okay. So those people have signs in their yard. It's the same thing. Okay. That means they've got a high school kid. Within 3 to 5 years, there's a great chance that they're going to list that home. Okay. So guess what? If they're getting some consistent canvassing from you, mailings from you, right? They know who you are. We're going to get to that in a second. Okay. Right. They are far more likely to choose you when the time is right. They're going to know that that's what you do, because they're also going to know you're an expert. Now I'm going to get to how we're going to wrap all of that together, because it's really, really important to do it all. Okay. So, well, Bernie, what do I do? I mean, okay, yeah, now I think they're going to sell. Do I just mail stuff to them? That kind of sucks. No. Guys, I need you to do different stuff. I need you to get a little aggressive. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. So this weekend is Saturday. I was home. Nobody else was home with me. I don't know what I was doing. I was cleaning something up. I think maybe I just gotten back from a workout class or something, and somebody knocked on my door. Now in America, it's a little rare for somebody to knock on our door, right? Okay. So I kind of looked out the side window, and it looked like just a normal lady. So I opened the door. She's like, hi, my name's Susie. I live across the field from you guys. I noticed last year you put in a big new patio or a new deck. We had an old deck that was rotten. We had to put in a new deck. One of these composite wood decks. It's a pretty cool deck. And she's like, hey, I don't want to weird you out, but man, I'd love your contact. I love the deck, and we want to call the same people. We're getting a couple of quotes. So again, I live in the area, right? She was interested. No problem. Right there, man. I grab my phone. I hook it up. I send her to my deck guy. And, I don't know what happened, but That's kind of cool. So guys, it's okay if you knock on somebody's door, but you've got value. So what I want you to do with these signs in the yard specifically, okay, is I want you to go to your handy dandy computer, MLS, whatever that is for you, and in your realtor software, and do a CMA, one of those fancy market analysis, right? Okay, so now you're going to print out what every company's different, maybe a 3-pager, but at a minimum, it's going to show literally what they bought it for. Most likely, you can find out what they owe. We're going to get to that in a second with some title company help and some other technical data help. Guess the equity a little bit, but also all this other fancy stuff, okay? Similar homes in the area, how much they sold for, what they could sell their home for, bottom line. And then you're going to go downstairs where you keep all the Christmas decorations, okay? Raise your hand if you've got under your stairs, under the storage in your stairs, that's where you keep all the Christmas decorations. That's where I got mine. Okay. In there, you've got an old bag of bows, the bows from last year, or some kind of Christmas stuff from last year. And you're going to take one of those 5-cent bows and take the thing off, but you got to put Scotch tape because we all know they don't stick. And you're going to use your fancy reeler folder. You're going to put that marketing analysis in there, and you're going to slap that bow on it. Okay. And then on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, maybe 11, you're going to knock on their door. So again, I need you to get a little uncomfortable because this is how we are going to grow and get better. We get it. Okay. You got to change your relationship with rejection, right? The way I look at it, if I knock on their door and that person's mean to me, I kind of say, thank you. Okay. Geez. All right. God, you're out there. You're guiding me away from this person to the next person. And I got my CMA that thinks I'm valuable. Okay. I'm thankful that happened for me and not to me, right? I don't want to work with that person. Great. There's 32,000 more homes that want my services. I'm going to go find one of them. But guys, that's not what happened. That's usually in our mind. Most of the time, people are going to be generally pleasant. And all you're doing is you're giving them a gift. You're going to say, hey, Karen, man, I've got a gift for you. My name's Bernie Miller. Hey, I sell Round Rock, Texas. Round Rock, I'm a realtor here. I'm an absolute expert. And, man, I noticed you got a high school graduate. This is great. So this is a gift. And in here, I want to make sure you know your home is worth $436,000. Isn't that crazy? Man, congratulations. Way to go. Oh, well, that's really nice. Okay, gosh, thanks. So, like, what's your plan? Like, are you selling? And what I like to ask, and please use this script because this works. Do you have any plans to sell your home in the next 5 years? Okay, because if you say, are you selling now? They're going to say no, most likely, right? But if you say in the next 5 years, people are more likely to go, huh? Well, I don't know. I guess maybe, right? That's all you need is a little bit of buy-in. Well, hey, I love that. If you're open to it, I promise not to drive you crazy, but I want to kind of follow up. I'll get you my mail list. When I sell a home in the area, I'll send you a little flyer. And hey, if you don't mind, I'd love to follow you on social, but at a minimum, I want to give you my social media kind of handle because I am an expert in the area. I post all kinds of stuff about the town of Round Rock. Hey, I think you'll find it super interesting. Oh, well, okay. Now, they got their phone right there with them. So we're going to do our best to get their social. Now, there's other ways you could get it, right? Heck, you could guess. But that's really critical. I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay. So now for our open house people, we met them, right? We're doing all that stuff for open house. We already got them. Okay. But they're on our list. Now we've got people that have high school graduate signs in the yard and high school sports signs in the yard. The next one is basic landscaping. Okay. Guys, we've all driven by homes that we don't know who the people are, but because they've got those big piney bushes up over the windows that are not manicured in any way, we just know that most likely that's probably a more elderly person that's living there, that have lived there for a long time. And there's a great chance they're selling their home in the next 5 years, right? How many times have you seen that home and you've driven by it? Maybe it's on your way to the bus stop or something to drop off a kid, and 3 years later, there's a sign in the yard. You're like, oh, wow, and in your mind, you're like, I kind of knew they were probably going to sell because they just probably looked like they were getting older, right? Let's take advantage of that. So same kind of thing. And the beauty of older folks, if you knock on their door, they're more likely to talk to you. They might keep you there for 30, 40 minutes, right? They're just way friendlier than young people. That's all there is to it. Okay. And then, so guys, I think that's another one. And then another one, no brainer. I drove one by this morning. Okay. When you drive by a house on Monday, this happened to me today, and there is a huge pile of trash and 2 mattresses and an old bookshelf and a beat up bench that got broken. Okay. They spent the weekend spring cleaning out their house. Guys, there's a reason. I mean, guys, I've raised now 5 kids in my house. I've got 2 kids left, 2 high school juniors. Okay. And I haven't cleaned out anything. But I guarantee you this year, we're going to start taking a whole bunch of stuff to the curb, because we are for sure selling our house next May. When my 2 boys that are going to be seniors next year, when they go get that diploma, there will be a sign in my yard, period. So when I married my wife, Tammy, it's the second marriage for us. This was 7, 8 years ago. Okay. She's a city girl. She's city Chicago girl. Okay. And she made me sign a contract that said, if you're going to make me move to the suburbs, as soon as these 2 boys graduate from high school, we're going back to the city. So guess what? That's what we're doing. So I am the living embodiment of all these signs, except for the landscaping. My landscaping is pretty tight, but there's a graduate sign in my yard. There's a sports sign in my yard. There's going to be piles of crap in my driveway. Okay. Because we're getting ready to sell. And right now there's not one realtor in my neighborhood that's canvassing me, sending me stuff consistently, or communicating with me. That's insane, right? So guys, there is opportunity out there. The realtor that we bought from 7 years ago, who's still active, has kind of lost touch. I haven't talked to her in 3 years. And guys, I'm a lender. I used to do a whole bunch of business with her. It's crazy, guys. There's opportunity. I'm just telling you, the more senior realtors, for whatever reason, they're just not good at keeping track of people they sold a home to. And you could take advantage of that. So huge. Okay. So huge. Okay. So now what I want to transition to, okay, the last one is data. So we've all heard this statistic, right? We've all heard this statistic. Oh my God, 80% of people out there that own a home have a mortgage rate that's like 3%. Okay. First of all, that's not necessarily true. Okay. Did you know that almost 40% of homes in America right now are owned free and clear with no mortgage? Oh, well, they don't like to tell us that. Okay. So I would challenge you to go to your title company folks. Go to your title company folks. They can pull stats. There is software and cool stuff out there now. Do title agents like realtors? Yes. Are you kidding me? They're stalking realtors all the time. They love you guys. They want realtors. So they can pull stats, and they can show you that over 50% of the homes in Round Rock, Texas, have more than 80% equity. Okay, so guys, here's what I know. That person might have a low interest rate on $100,000, and their home's worth $500,000. You know what they need? They need their money back. They need to get that money. By the way, we know right now that Americans, okay, our credit card debt is at the highest levels ever. Okay. So If you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll have Natalie put my Instagram handle in the chat. I did a quick video last week about how we can all help with inflation, right? And the number one way is stop spending money, right? Corporate America keeps raising prices, and all of us crazy Americans, we just keep spending money. That's what makes inflation go up. And of course, that's what keeps mortgage rates higher. We don't want that, but that's what's happening. So people that have equity, they need it. They need the money. So that's another reason you're going to see listings. It might as well be you, right? It might as well be you. That's the best news story of all this real estate stuff. And of course, it's a great reason to own real estate, which we know. Those equity stories, guys, that you can tell from your clients, home runs. I think they're big. Okay, so now we're going to be an expert. I've given you a few ways to be an expert. I want to give you some more ways to be an expert in your area, okay? Besides all the studying you can do and all the stats you can get, I want you to get immersed in the businesses. So now when I'm meeting my listing and I'm having a listing appointment, okay, I want you to show up with a big list of 40 different businesses that you can show you have a relationship with in the community that they may need to list their homes. It could be a carpet cleaning service, painting services, garbage services, haul-away services, staging services, landscaping service. Guys, you get it. Handyman, all the stuff. It shows that you're an expert. All of these people are aligned around my business. So guess what? You've got to spend some time over the next couple of months in your area going and building that list. And I know you guys have some of this list, but now I want you to go next level, okay? And now I want to think about social media. So I'm going to have Natalie put up another survey. So where's my survey, Natalie? Survey? Yep, she's got me. We have to know our audience. We have to know our audience. I want to know, which social platform do you think your target listing, that family, is using the most? Which one do you think? All right, we're getting some good answers. I love it. I should have had one on here, Natalie, that says, I'm not on social media. Right? Because I guarantee you we've got folks that are still not on social media. And guys, social media, it is not only not going away, it is a business multiplier big time, right? Business multiplier big time. Okay, we've got a few responses. I'm seeing a lot of Instagram. I'm seeing a lot of Facebook. A little bit of TikTok, 100%. Okay, I would tell you for sure, and we know this from just data, okay, that it's mostly Facebook and Instagram, okay? And it's probably more Facebook than we think, right? People older than 40, it's going to be a lot of Facebook and maybe not as much Instagram. So my point is, most of you on this call are experts, and you're doing a great job of hiding it, okay? I don't know why you wouldn't completely, or what I'd want you to do is reformat most of your social and all of the stuff in your social where you say who you are, right? What your kind of your taglines, right? I would be like Round Rock Realtor Extraordinaire. Like, identify as the expert in Round Rock real estate. I would write it right there under whatever your social handle is. So my social handle is Earn with Burn. Earn with Burn. That's Instagram. Below that, I would have Round Rock Real Estate Expert. That's what I want to be. And then, guys, you could literally post just by going to the Chamber of Commerce website, by going to the City of Round Rock website. You could post statistics every day that prove that you're an expert, and not stupid stuff, like really good stuff, like amount of business, the tax base, you know, and then you're learning things about zoning. I would want you to go to a zoning board meeting. I would want you to go to a city council meeting, right? And then you're posting these videos. Hey, look, it's me, Karen. I'm at the city council meeting for Round Rock expert, serving for you, right? Almost like you're running for mayor of Round Rock. I'm sorry, I'm picking on Karen because Karen's in my picture. Sorry, Karen. I promise I won't call on you. Right? City of Round Rock, right? I'm the one. And then I want you to go to all these businesses. So the businesses that are on your form, plumbers, electricians, everybody that realtors need, you would interview them, right? You do a 30-second interview, beautiful, post it on Instagram, quick reel, tag both parties. Now your social following starts to increase, right? So as you're tagging, as you're collaborating with other social folks, right? You're blowing up. Your followers blow up. When you're going to the open houses and you're dropping these CMAs off, that's why you want to gather more followers. Now these people are watching. Guys, we know people watch. I still go to kids' hockey games. And I'll have a parent that comes up like, oh man, that video you posted was hilarious. I'm like, I didn't even know we were connected, right? People watch. And that is the power of social media, the power. So what I would want you all to do is every week, and you'd have to plan this out. Now, you might be saying to yourself, okay, Bernie, listen, okay, I am not an Instagram expert. I don't know about editing these videos. Okay, this is going to take over my life. It's too much. Well, the beauty now, guys, is you can hire somebody a couple hours a week. You can hire a high school kid. You could hire a virtual assistant. If you haven't looked into this, I highly recommend it. A virtual assistant in the Philippines or in Colombia, okay, that would do this for you. You give them formats, you'd send them the content, and they would post it up in the right color palette, schemes, make it all look super authentic, perfect, professional. Crazy, I know it, but it would work, and it's inexpensive, okay? And within 6 months, you could be perceived as the absolute #1 real estate expert in that town. But it's more about understanding what the town wants, not what you want, right? And that is where the magic of referrals come, right? So again, the most value you can add to a listing or to a listing appointment is being strongly referred by someone who believes in you, okay? So with these strategies, you're limiting the pool of all these homes you're canvassing. So you're canvassing more homes that are more likely to sell. You're the expert. You're getting this information in front of them. So not only are you telling them you're an expert, you're showing them every day on social. They start believing it. Then they get that mailer, right? Every now and then you check in, you knock on the door. Maybe you do events, right? This is all more advanced stuff. Hey, I want to do a Round Rock, past client events. And if you invite 200 people, 45 or 50 are going to come to the picnic, right? But they're going to feel special. The ones that do show up, oh my gosh, they're going to use you. They know you. And I want you to have your family there, your kids, your grandkids, your dogs, right? This is a very personal people stuff. And I think between COVID and all the Zoom stuff, we've gotten a little too detached. And if you want to win, you got to attach, okay? If you want to win listings and buyers, starting immediately, you better be having listing appointments, pre-presentation, buyer consultations, pre-presentation. I think it's a safety factor at some point, but that is value. For us as lenders, we went to that a few years ago. We meet every single client in person or on Zoom in person if they're out of state, because it convinces them, it attaches them, they won't cheat. Okay, I have two extra tactics, bonuses that I was going to go through if I had time. And now I have time. I've got 8 minutes. Okay. Number one, builders. Guys, go out in outside communities as realtors. I know this is crazy. Call on builders. Specifically, there are 55 and over communities. Some might be condos. Some might be townhomes that are popping up everywhere, massively popular. Okay. So guess what? In those communities, people sell their homes in the suburbs and they downsize and they get rid of all their crap. They go pay cash for this 55 and older community property. But what do they got to do? They got to sell their home. Every one of those people has a home to sell. And then you decide, this person's not in Round Rock. I'm going to refer that one out to my friend Karen. I'm just killing Karen today. I'm going to refer this to Karen because Karen's an expert on the south side of Austin, Texas. Great. You get a little commission. Karen gets her commission. Take care of a client. Okay. Nobody is calling on the salespeople in these 55 and older communities. And right now they are one of the most popular new construction type of build out communities in America, everywhere in America. Okay. Now I Googled in Round Rock 55 and over communities. And in 5 seconds, I found Longhorn Village. Longhorn Village, exclusive. It's up near Steiner Ranch. If you know anything about Austin, Texas, Steiner Ranch is where all the fancy people are. Okay. Hundreds of units, more available. So now that means I'm getting referrals there and I'm listing $1 million homes because those people are moving out of $1 million homes to go live in little Longhorn Village up in Steiner Ranch outside of Austin, Texas. Okay. Pretty cool. And do you think it's easier to get paid your commission and maybe even pay the buyer's commission and all that stuff when you're selling homes that have a bunch of equity in them and you're adding a lot of value and all that stuff? We could do other presentations on that. I'm not doing that today. Yes, of course it is. Right? Of course it is. Okay. Number 2 is senior care facilities. All right. So one of the biggest challenges in America is people are living too long. I think that's awesome. We all think it's awesome, but baby boomers are now aging and there's a gazillion of them because the healthcare has gotten better and better and better. And now they're going to senior care facilities, right? Some of those aren't necessarily nursing homes. Some are just senior living, etc. So same thing. You're a realtor. Okay, go call on the salespeople in those facilities. So in Round Rock, Texas, there are seven senior living facilities. I didn't even look very hard that have over 500 residents. Okay. They don't have vacancies. So there's waiting lists. So now you're going to those salespeople, introducing yourself. I run Round Rock, biggest realtor in Round Rock, expert Round Rock. You're learning about them. You can showcase them on social, blow that up. Here's the value I'm going to add. I've got 8,000 Instagram followers. I'll showcase you guys. Let's do a video together. And hey, I've got clients that are elderly that are selling their home that need a solution. Great. And you've got a waiting list of 20 people waiting to get in to your extended care facility that need to sell their home. They need to sell their home. Guys, this is the #1 untapped source for listings, in my opinion, in America. So just do me a favor. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Just all of you are sitting right now less than 10 miles away from a large senior care facility. I almost guarantee it. So do me a favor. It's a free country, right? Grab a flyer, walk in, ask to meet a salesperson. They'll say no problem, okay? And just sit down and have a conversation, right? Hey, and again, learn about them. Make it about them. Tell them about your facility, who's your ideal client, right? They'll get to you in a second. Figure out what they want. And obviously it's going to be a very specific type of person who needs a specific kind of care. And then that allows you eventually, right, to ask about and talk about what you want. Okay. Not too bad. Guys, I love it. I want to give a moment for questions. I know we're on the end of our time, right? We talked about a ton of stuff. And again, the whole theme of this, guys, is I want all of you to go get more listings. I know what's going to happen with listings. Matter of fact, I think you could probably get paid more as the listing agent as time goes by here because you're going to be more valuable. You're going to be doing more work, hypothetically. Okay? So I hope this helped. do you have questions for me? If you have a question, you can throw it in the chat, or you can just go live and just talk to me and unmute. So, guys, do me a favor. I am going to send anybody who follows me on Instagram. Okay? So get your phone out. My Instagram is at Earn with Bern. EARNWITHBERN. Okay, so I have a 2-page summary masterclass on this that I will send to everybody that follows me on Instagram. And I know a few of you already follow me. Leticia, I know you follow me. I've got other folks out there I know that follow me. But anybody that follows me, I'll have my team look that up, and we will send out this 2-pager. So that way you can go back, look at these tactics. And of course, guys, if you ever have any questions about a script, or like you roll into one of these places and you get hit with something weird you haven't heard of, talk to me, call me, text me, email me. I'd love to help. I'd love to hear you. I do this as a service to all of our realtors out there. Again, as a servant at NAREP. I love doing this. I love helping. And I hope you guys found this helpful. Okay. Any other things? Any other questions? Objections you're worried about? You name it. Ta-da. Okay, I'm looking. I don't see anything in the comments. Okay. Okay. I love it. Okay, team. I'm on time. I'm signing off. Thank you guys so much. I will get everybody invited to the next one no matter what. And I hope to see you then. See you, team. Later, guys. Oh, there's Nora up there. Hey, Nora.